My name, for anyone I don't know, is Christine Johnston. I'm the Director of Health Promotion, and I'm very, very excited to welcome you all to the graduation ceremony for our second cohort of Pride Care students. So we have 25 students, most of whom are here today, who will be joining us, and they have gone through 6 hours of training. So we are so grateful for everyone's support in this program and the support of the campus, and particularly Dr. Slade, the Office of Student Affairs, Department of Athletics, to help make this happen. So I want to start today by introducing the Pride Cares team, the folks who make this happen. So I'm grateful to be a part of this team now this year, with the new Office of Health Promotion, really having a place for Pride Cares to live and to continue to be a resource for our students. But we certainly would not be here without Dr. Bob Corsi, who is a retired sport management and recreation faculty, and Lauren Gray, who is one of the counselors in our counseling center, who these two are the reason they really were the idea and the brains behind Pride Cares, and so we're so grateful for them. We also could not be here without our graduate student team, who were with us for the entire training. So thank you so much, Connor Crone, Nicole Walden, Ryan Welch, Jane Jung Chen, and Weston Sharp. Thank you for all of your help. And then, of course, to our students. We could not be here without you. You are the reason that we are doing this, and you are the ones who are going to bring this out to the campus community. So, with that said, I would like to turn this over to Bob, who's going to give us a little story of Pride Cares to get started today.
Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. Yeah, I think so. Okay. So I'm going to share with you the story behind it. I'll give you the short version, and it's really reflective of my why, and I think to a certain degree Lauren's why. So as a faculty member in 2020, March 13th, 2020, basically the world stopped, as we know. And here at Springfield College, we had, which was unusual and a change, we had 2 weeks off. We had spring break, and then faculty was supposed to figure out how to work this thing called Zoom and do synchronous or asynchronous classrooms. And during that time frame, again, the 2 weeks, we were planning on what was this thing going to look like and how was it going to feel. And what I learned from that particular piece, because I saw lots of bedrooms that I don't want to see ever again, I saw lots of kitchen countertops, lots of dining room tables, and lots of cellars where students were sharing with their brothers and sisters and their moms and dads, because everybody was remote. Everybody. The world pretty much had stopped. And we were all glued to the television because of this thing called COVID-19. We had no idea where it was going to take us. So, as I continued to teach during that, I went to an asynchronous model and worked in teams. I saw and observed changes in behavior. Real changes in behavior. Students of mine that were outgoing and gregarious became quiet, became really, they weren't themselves. I saw grades start to tumble, and I tried to do whatever I could via Zoom to get them to interact so that they might be able to salvage whatever it was that they wanted to salvage during the course of the semester, which wasn't easy. During that time frame, because I was serving as the college's faculty athlete rep, I had attended via Zoom a number of NCAA workshops that focused on mental health. And then it finally clicked with me halfway through that second part of the spring semester that what I was seeing in my students was a mental health issue or a mental health concern. It was very evident. And I learned things that all of the students and student athletes too, everybody was in mourning. Some felt they lost their identity. Those kinds of things added to the overall stressors that was shaping our world. Moms and dads were getting laid off. Everybody was working from home. Somebody, if you had to have a hotspot just to be able to get on, I mean, it was really chaotic. And that, what I learned from that is that those outside forces added to the overall stress that all of the students were feeling. Because I'm a proud graduate of this college, I was taught to not sit on the sideline. I was taught to get involved to the best of your ability, and certainly knowing that you can never do anything alone. I reached out to Dr. P, Dr. Poisson, and Michelle Cecina and said, I got to do something, but I don't know what I got to do. I really don't, but I have to do something. I can't watch these students suffer like they're suffering. And they said, great idea, go do it. I said, well, give me some guidance, give me some direction. And none of us really knew anything until Michelle contacted Lauren Gray, and then this wonderful young lady walked into my life, and then it started to shape what became known as Pride Cares. As Pride Cares. And we all know, and again, Christine talked about all of the people that were involved, all of them. It takes a coalition of people, like-minded people, to make sure that this gets done and that it sustains itself. And for all the people that were mentioned, thank you. Thank you for your commitment. And Future Health is here as well. That was a very early partner with us as well. Good friend of mine, Kevin Sarmy's president of that company, and loaned us all of his archival videos. So then Pride Cares, over the course of 9 months, with a variety of people that were mentioned, it started to take shape. And then the graduate students descended upon us, and we solidified our very first cohort, and what we thought they needed to learn, needed to listen, needed to know about, so they could be as effective as possible. And we were very proud of that first cohort. And then we met over the summer, and the second cohort, we rearranged the training under Lauren's guidance, and certainly all the graduate students, they were all actively engaged in putting that curricula together. We felt very good about the curricula that you received over that particular, those three 2-hour sessions. And I'm just so thrilled and so happy and really joyful that Pride Cares is alive and well, because certainly the need on campus has not decreased in any way, shape, or form. And lastly, I just want to say that I'm so proud of all of our students, first cohort, second, and everybody that's been involved, because you're actually performing Humanics in action. This is service and leadership to others. And it is very touching to know, and I feel very confident that you're going to do such a good job because you believe in the Humanics philosophy. So I can't thank you enough. It's really wonderful to be here, and I'm so proud of all of you. Thank you.
So as you can see, Bob is the dynamic part of the two of us. And I am like the behind the scenes, which is where I like to be. I like to be in my office one-on-one. So Bob just gave us a little bit of why. Why did we do this? And we asked all of our students right in the first training, what is your why? Why are you here? But before we get to their why, because some of them are going to share it, I wanted to give you a little bit of the nuts and bolts about how we actually ran the training and what was really important about the training. And one of the quotes that I really rely on as a counselor is, especially during COVID, the greatest indicator of current functioning is current connection. And that really became the basis or the foundation of our work within Pride Cares. And we used the ACT model. Throughout the 3 Pride Cares trainings, you can probably see the ACT right in front of me. We were equipping students with an awareness of what connection and intentional conversations may look like in order to address the loneliness, the isolation, and really what's happening in this post-COVID environment or in the current COVID environment, and the stress and anxiety and depression that we're really seeing escalate. So in our first training, we started with, the very first training, we started with our why, and we got into the A of ACT, which is assess and acknowledge. Students really had an opportunity to understand what it means to create an invitation, and sometimes that's taking out your earbuds and walking across campus, looking at people, looking up. What does it mean to approach someone, to actually lean into their experience? What does it mean to actually be approachable? And we discussed what it means to assess for risk in order to determine first steps in what it might look like to understand an escalating situation, or what's actually really going on here. Within the approach and the assessment, we're really understanding, can I intervene here? Do I want to? Can I step into that awkward space? So our second training is really the C, which is CARES. It's part of Pride CARES. It's CARE, and this is like the crux of our training. This is really where we're creating those open-ended conversations, intentional language, non-judgmental language, what it means to be an active listener. And within this training, we also discuss the universal experience of stress and anxiety on this campus. Really, it's not just a unique experience for individuals who need counseling, but really everyone experiences stress and anxiety. And within this one, we also understood how to manage it when it escalates, when it reaches a point of fear or panic, which is very common also. So our final Pride CARES training, which was just this past week, covered escalating concerns, and that actually is the escalation of understanding self-harm, understanding suicidal thoughts, assessment, and when to actually seek help. The T in ACT stands for treatment and tell, and sometimes that can look like bridging resources. Sometimes it looks like looping back to the same conversation a day later or a week later and saying, hey, how's that going? How are things going? In this training, we also help them understand a good understanding within those escalating concerns. When do we need to bring in other resources? We did a lot of resource allotment on campus. Who are our resources? Sometimes it's walking someone to the counseling center, but sometimes it's really engaging another faculty or staff member to make sure that the student is okay or has extra ears on the situation or eyes on the situation. Sometimes it's looping in other resources that could really help that student feel more connected. And so throughout all of this, we emphasize application. We did a lot of role play. We did a lot of challenging, like what does this look like outside of here? And also, what does this look like for them, for you as students? So my language is not your language. Your language is not the person next to you's language. And you all got to develop a sense and to explore a sense of what this language means for you through the role play. A key piece of this is also your own self-care, and we will continue to reinforce that. We started to recognize boundaries around what you are able to support and when do I really need to bring additional people in to see what's going on. So in all of this, in the best case scenario, we hope to intervene before concerns become a crisis or an emergency. And early intervention is the key to better managing and supporting mental health needs. Our peer support, we know that individuals are much more likely to go to their peers before they are likely to seek an adult for guidance. And so you really are our resource bridgers. We thank you for your commitment. And we really recognize your ability to step into this role and understand what it means to take care of each other on this campus. So thank you.
I'm going to stand here and follow Bob, assuming that you could hear me. My name is Craig Poisson. I serve as the Director of Athletics. My role here today is with a colleague of mine, Dr. Slandy, to represent President Cooper, who is serving in one of her national presidential committee roles today off campus. She'd be here if she wasn't. I'd like to recognize Bob and his story and to share with you that was the crescendo. There was a tipping point. When we left, that was the tipping point. Bob had served in the faculty athletic role since 2015. And it was clear to me that he wasn't leaving without a legacy. You know, very unfortunate situation created a legacy, that of a global pandemic. But Bob was going to have an impact that lasted at this institution. It was clear to me in his workings for his 6 years up to that time period as our FAR, Faculty Athletic Representative. We're really fortunate at Springfield College that we had an active FAR. Every Division I, II, and III institution in the country is required to have a faculty athletics rep. Vast majority. You could ask a student athlete who their FAR is, they have absolutely no idea. There's a cohort at institutions where they'll know who the FAR is. There's a smaller cohort where not only will the student athletes and non-student athletes know who the faculty representative is, but that person is active. Bob, thank you again for your service to Springfield College. As has been stated, it takes a lot. There's a team behind Bob, there's a team behind Lauren Gray, there's a team behind Christine Johnson. To me, those are the three, the triangle, that now are sustaining the Pride Cares program. I thank you all for your efforts. I think it's a great collaboration that stemmed from an athletics domain into the student affairs domain that speaks to the relationship and collaboration between student affairs and athletics at Springfield College. So really, really nice work. In athletics, we talk about wearing the jersey at this institution because of our rich and storied history is the short version of that. A longer version gets into playing for yourself and for your members of your family and for your team and for your department and for the institution. The jersey. I'm not going to say this is the luggage tag, but its importance cannot be overemphasized, and I applaud this class and any members of the inaugural Pride Cares class that might be here today as well, because you have no idea what that tag may do, the impact that tag may have on someone's life. It cannot be put into words. There is not an athletic director in the country who doesn't go to an educational session that isn't interfacing with mental health. There's not a student affairs vice president who goes to an educational session that isn't interfacing with mental health. We have a very caring community here. You are showing how much you care by earning this luggage tag. That is a very important luggage tag. I applaud you in your second class for the Pride Cares program. Thank you for doing it.
Thank you, Dr. Poisson. So at this point, we are going to get into giving you, our class, your backpack tags. So each of our students who is finishing up the Pride Cares program, graduating from the Pride Cares program, will get we're calling them backpack tags, luggage tags, that you can put on your bag to be identified. And then with some feedback from our initial cohort, we have a couple additional things for you. So we know that you're not going to have your backpack everywhere, but a lot of times you have your laptop or your water bottle, so we have stickers as well that you can have to put on other items to identify you as someone who's been through the Pride Cares training. Some of you asked for door hangers so that if you are in your residential community and you are home, right, and you're in your room and you are willing to have a chat with someone, we know that these are the people who may seek you out. It's not just the folks that may be on your team or in your club or organization, but the folks that live with you. And so we tried to give you lots of options. And then finally, we have your resource cards for you. So you can take these just as a reminder of your different resources that are out. So I'm going to invite our graduate students to come up because our graduating class worked with our graduate students very closely. They were divided up into 3 teams or subgroups in the training. So I'm going to have, they are going to introduce the undergrads to you. So we'll start with group 1. All right. And you could come up and help. That'd be great. All right.
So I have the opportunity to, and Ryan also has the opportunity to bring up the graduates of Team Fire. Before we start kind of announcing names, I just want to take a moment and say thank you for being vulnerable, for challenging yourself, and being present throughout the trainings. I know some of the trainings were challenging, and it was hard to find the right language. So I appreciate you all just taking the time and being there and trying and taking a step to make Springfield an even better campus. So with that said, our first graduate of Team Fire, Shalyn Whalen. Dante Lingley. Mason Preble.
Alma Kulenovich. Angie Chiremha. Nadia Garib. And the last, but certainly not the least, Adam Riley.
All right. Team 2, we were Team Ocean, I believe. We did not fare so well in the competition, but we do have the most heart. But echoing off of what Nicole was saying up here, that just congratulations for completing the program and going through with something that is much needed on campus. Last year, speaking at the graduation, I had mentioned that the last group was the pilot program and that the next group would be the pilots who flew it. And so now you have now flown the plane, so now we get to see where this goes. So, without further ado, we have 3 people who I believe are not here from group 2. So we'll talk about them first. We'll have a brief round of applause for them, but then we'll get to those who are here. So first up is Ryan Allegro, Justin Clark, and Maddie Kuhn. And first up for those who are here, Maya Baird. Mackenzie Feely. Clay Nibbs. Callie Morris. And Jackson Tanulitz. Congratulations again, Group 2, and I'll hand it off to Group 3.
Well, Group 3, I don't believe actually had a name.
It was
My
Sunshine.
understanding. Sunshine. We never referred to ourselves as it, but it was still an honor to work with you guys. And just as what's been mentioned before, what you guys are doing is phenomenal. Like I can't stress it enough. No one here can stress it enough. And you're gonna help lives, guaranteed, whether it be yourselves or others. So thank you for doing that.
Okay. Emily D'Annunzio. Ty Gary. Patrick Hall. Liz Marley. Cassie Noonan. Annalie Pagliaro. Katie Riley. Danielle Schmeling. And Doug Wyden. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all and congratulations to you all. So as Lauren mentioned, in the first training, we asked all of you to write down your why you were here, why you wanted to be part of this Pride Cares training. And we have 3 students today who have graciously agreed to share their why. So I'm going to invite all 3 of you to come up. So Nadia, Katie, Jackson, if you all come up. All 3 of them are going to give us a little brief about their why. So, you're okay. That's great. Jackson, thank you.
Everyone, my name is Jackson Tanglitz. I'm a senior in the psych department. On campus, I'm a student ambassador and I'm a member of Pride Cares. I learned about the program actually through Professor Corsi when he came in and was a guest speaker in one of my classes, and it was immediately something I wanted to do. Being someone who wants to go into sports psychology or athletic counseling, I knew it was something like I was interested in right away. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it last year, but when the opportunity presented itself this year, I signed up right away. When I first started the program, my why was kind of simple. I wanted to be an outlet for my friends and the people around me that were in my life. I've personally dealt with mental health issues in the past, and I know many people close to me have. So I just wanted to be able to have open and honest conversations with them and do it the right way, not kind of lead them in the wrong direction. I know mental health isn't really a topic that everyone's willing to speak on, and I wanted to be someone who could help the people around me who didn't necessarily know where to go or what to do. But as we moved through the Pride Cares program, my why kind of shifted a little bit. My ability to help my friends and those around me is always going to be the foundation for that for my why. But through some self-reflection, I kind of discovered that my why is a little bit bigger. I want to be able to be an outlet for anyone who wants to be seen or heard to the best of my ability. Through Pride Cares, one thing that really stuck with me was how many people on college campuses really deal with mental health issues. We kind of talked about it in the Cohort on the first day. It kind of stuck with me the whole thing. So my new why, I guess is how I'll say it, is I always want to be an outlet for my friends and family. But I also want to be someone who can help someone tell their story, because I believe that everyone has a story to tell, but not everyone knows how to tell it.
Thanks, Jeff.
Hi. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Katie Reedy. I'm a member of the track team, the acapella group. I'm a student ambassador as well. I'm an orientation leader and now a proud Pride Cares graduate. In the fall of this year, I experienced my first NSO, or New Student Orientation, as a leader. Through those trainings was when I first heard about Pride Cares, and throughout that weekend, I had a lot of students coming up to me. Seeing me as a leader meant they had trust in me automatically, and that meant a lot to me, but I also was left in a position where I wasn't 100% sure how to navigate everything that I was hearing about. So when I heard about Pride Cares through NSO, I was immediately drawn to the idea and knew it was something I wanted to be a part of. Through this experience, I learned a lot about myself, but I also learned that the best thing you can be for somebody is just there. When you talk, things get better. When you talk, you inspire other people to do so as well. If you know me, you know that I absolutely never stop talking, and I never will, especially when it comes to protecting each other and protecting our mental health. The best part about Springfield College is that the people and the students here really care for each other. It's why I transferred here, and it's why I stayed. Pride Cares is the official extension of that, and I know that I can pride myself now on being a leader and a friend that knows how to be there, with the added confidence in our entire campus community.
Should have gone first. Sorry, I'm just pulling it up as well. Alright. Hi everyone, my name is Nadia Garib. I'm a junior and I'm majoring in history and secondary ed. I use she, her pronouns. And I'm also on the e-board for Minds in Motion, which is the mental health club on campus. The reason why I wanted to enroll in Pride Cares was because I'm very passionate about mental health, and I'm also the youngest member on the e-board for Minds in Motion. I feel that for me to be fully prepared to guide students and to help our club grow next year when my senior e-board members leave is that I need to be as educated as possible on mental health topics, so I felt like Pride Cares was the perfect opportunity to do that. And while my why hasn't changed, I'm extremely grateful to have been enrolled in Pride Cares because, like Lauren mentioned earlier, it really teaches you on the importance of language. And before Pride Cares, I considered myself to be fairly good with talking to friends whenever they needed help, but the amount of effort and knowledge it takes to really think about what you say before you say it to someone and the deep impact it has is really awesome and profound, and I feel really grateful that Pride Cares taught me how to be much more intentional about that and give me a lot of really awesome phrases to use when and if I'm ever faced with students who really need help. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Nadia. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Jackson. And I just want to say thank you to all of you, to all of our students from this graduating cohort. I saw a couple of folks who were in our spring cohort here. Congratulations to you. Thank you for the hard work that you are doing on our campus every day. And to everyone who's here today to support our students, thank you, because they really couldn't do it without your support. So congratulations, graduates. And if you need anything, as always, you know that Bob, Lauren, and I are not going anywhere, as well as our grad students. We are very grateful for the opportunity to work with each and every one of you. Thank you for giving your time, your energy, your Wednesday evenings, and for participating in this very important training for all of us. So, congratulations.